Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 4 of the Mana Dorks Podcast. I am your host, Tasty Snackies, always brought to you with my co-host, Mr. McBee. How's it going, McBee?
What is happening, sir? Good to see you.
Good to see you too, sir. And we have a guest tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin from Rogue Deckbuilder. How's it going, sir?
It's going well.
Good. I was thinking about delaying this to Thursday because there wasn't really going on much in the Magic news sphere because we delayed last week because of McBee's illness. And lo and behold, a bunch of shit blew up today. And I figured, the perfect person to talk to about this who would have a better insight than the both of us would be Kevin from Rogue Deckbuilder. But before we begin that, we're going to rip off John from They Said We Said, and we're going to show off some alcoholic beverages that we'll be enjoying during this podcast. I am drinking Leanin' Kegel's Summer Shandy.
Oh, for Christ's sake, man, it's Lenny Kugels.
Fuck, I don't fucking care. I'm white, okay? I don't have to pronounce things correctly.
That is a German name.
Okay, cool. Well, I have Native American blood in me, so... race card. Anyways, it tastes okay. It's like a 3 out of 5. I probably wouldn't buy this again. McBee, what are you drinking?
I'm sipping on the tail end of some BSB, brown sugar bourbon from Heritage Distilling Company from Washington and Oregon.
Weren't you drinking that last week?
Yeah, it's the tail end of it. Last couple shots.
Very nice, very nice. Kevin, what are you drinking tonight?
I'm trying to finish off my Heritage. I got some Heinz tomato ketchup. But if any of you buy that Del Monte crap, no. Heinz.
Ew.
Heinz only. Heinz. I am a ketchup Nazi. Heinz only.
I didn't know there was a Del Monte brand of ketchup.
And maybe if I feel like it, we'll crack the good old Captain Morgan. This was given to me a long time ago by a mother because she knows how hard it is to tolerate her son. And he basically, before they moved, they basically lived at our game store. He was in every day. So
I'm
actually gonna miss the little punk. But whatever.
Well, hopefully he watches this and he is ecstatic that you enjoyed his company.
Shout out to Kid. What is Kid's real name? I can't remember. Kid. We called him Kid, and it stuck because he was Kid, and so it was just Kid from then on out.
Shout out Kid's mom.
Shout out Kid. Oh my God. What if that name sticks with him after he leaves? He starts in a new place. He doesn't give a shit about sharing his name. He's like, yeah, my name's Kid, whatever.
It's funny. He hated it first. And then it was a total, don't call me that type thing. And then he completely owned it. And then we couldn't even call him by his real name because he was Kid. So even our like league posters, we have, the wins, losses, Zach beat Kid.
Oh my God. Okay, so as always, before we get into the more serious topics, we'll always start off with the more easier stuff. So, McBee, did you have a chance to play any Magic from this previous episode till now?
No, not that I could think of. I mean, I might have cracked open the Duel of the Planeswalkers game at some point. And,
what? You haven't gotten on Arena yet?
No, of course not, dude.
You can probably get in the beta. They're handing them out like candy. They want everyone in.
Do you get to draft?
Yes.
I'm in.
Yeah,
I'll probably be doing that, installing that after we get done here.
Yeah, go do it. It's definitely worth it. Like, I guess I'll show a little bit for Arena and saying that I was a bit down on it from the beginning, but I enjoy it and I like what it has to offer. The economy was a bit of a bumpy road, and it still is, but I enjoy it. Kevin, you have a lot more opinions about Arena.
Yeah, I mean there's a podcast for its own
right.
way. I love it. I hate it, but I've seen the writing on the wall. I think it's going to be the way that Magic is going to go. So I'm slowly moving out of MTGO. I'll keep my Pauper stuff there if I ever do decide to get back into Modern. But drafts exclusively do on Arena now. I don't draft at all on MTGO.
Yeah, and it also just looks better for the channel too. Like, better to watch just because MTGO is such a boring fucking program to even look at. It makes me want to fall asleep. That's why I don't really like playing that much MTGO, just because it's just a strain on the eyes.
It's just so static, man. It just looks terrible.
Mm-hmm. But I got to play some standard, played a standard showdown. I've been testing out a white-black mid-range deck, trying out Leonin, War Leader, and I like what it has to offer, especially in tandem with Regal Caracal. I cut out the Hardy-Kieran's all together because, Kevin, you know how I am with my brewing brain and Hardy-Kieran's. But I like it, and I've come to the conclusion that Settle the Wreckage is probably my favorite card in Standard right now. I went up and just decided to throw 4 in the deck altogether. But Kevin, are you brewing with anything in particular right now?
I've still been working on the Monument, and so kind of my pet decks are either Ronus's Monument, Oketra's Monument, and I still mess around with Marinette Master, but lately I've been working with Liliana, the new one out of M19, try to assemble the combo with I can't remember the card now, the blue enchantment. You name a creature type, and then all of your cards are those creature type in addition to
Arcane Adaptation.
Adaptation, yeah. Yep. Yeah. So mess around with like the right build for that. Don't know exactly what that entails. Went an all-in version of it and didn't. You get run over by aggro and controlled out by control, but it's fun when you combo off.
Very fun. I saw a little bit of that video, and then the next day when I went to my LGS, someone else was talking about that deck, and they were trying to like look for Walking Ballistas and Lilianas and all that stuff, and I was like, oh shit, that outreach! It's fucking amazing.
I think people have been talking about it for a while. I can't remember how I stumbled across it, but I'm like, I'm gonna try it out. But yeah.
No, we have to keep the illusion. You were the one who created it.
Okay.
But so Kevin, did you hear the news today? Well, actually, McBee, let me ask you, because I know you're more out of the magic loop than I have been for the past few days. Have you heard anything about a certain WPN store called A Store of Fire and Dice?
Yeah, I just saw the story about they had a sign that was defaced or something like that, and then there was some Twitter outrage that surrounded it, and people were up in arms that someone would dare tarnish the rules set up on that particular poster. And I think it was like a Reddit post that added or something like that. And there was Twitter outrage about it.
Yeah, so it was originally, there was this poster. I'm pulling up the image of it now so that way I can read it. So there was this post posted on Reddit r/MagicTCG, you know, the best place, the best source for Magic the Gathering players to congregate and collectively as one unit. We're taking some offense to a poster from a store called Store of Fire and Dice. And there's this poster. I don't know. Kevin, is this poster necessary for each WPN affiliated store?
I'm not their franchise. They can't tell me what the hell to do. They sent it to us and asked us kindly to put it up, but my wall space is very valuable.
Okay, cool. So
they can't. There's no legal binding between Wizards and putting up a poster. Again, Wizards is a private company. I guess they can take their ball and go home. They can, throw a hissy fit whenever they want and just refuse to do business with people. But yeah, it was. I actually felt that it was a bit of an overreach from Wizards when they even, hey people, we'd like you to put this up in your store type ultimatum almost. But,
So this poster, it's a poster that says like a commitment to each other, and it just talks about like. It's originally supposed to say, like, put fun first and welcome everyone, respect your play environment, follow the rules, just be a good person, all that bullshit. Except on this poster, because everyone can kind of tell when a corporation's pandering, they decided to etch out a bunch of it and edit it in such a way where it says a commitment to each other. These expectations help us keep our diverse community healthy as we share our love of games. And then first, competition is a part of Magic. Welcome. Our community excludes all kinds of people. Play the rule, it just says play. And then it says the rules, or our law supersedes the rules, all local laws and event rules. So it's just like poking fun and just mixing around shit.
We've all done this to signs before, edited it to make it, just for fun. It's not even, not to be meant seriously. It's not an attack on Wizards.
Yeah, it's the school equivalent of writing something up on the whiteboard, right? Or up on the blackboard.
Yeah.
It's a bit excessive, like for someone to just completely not only get upset about it, but also to grab other people to also be collectively upset about it. And that's what they did. And so they threw this up on Reddit. Whichever user did, and everyone just started, downvoting or whatever, and just like, and before comments locked, and then of course comments are locked and all that bullshit. But at that point, it was already too late before anything could be quelled, because the attention was already given to Wizards of the Coast because of other signal boosters, and we'll get to that later. And Wizards decided to drop not necessarily the ban hammer, but to decide to drop this store's WPN status. So, Kevin, what does it mean when you lose your WPN status?
Well, let me back up before, because there's a little bit more to that story.
Okay.
Apparently, the original person that tweeted this out or put it to Reddit has beef with the store to begin with. I think that's very important to know that this person set out to actually attack this local game store. It wasn't just some rando that came in and like, "Ayo" type thing. It was someone that, they've been looking, they've been watching, they've been waiting, and they finally found their ammo. So from what I can tell, the store is insanely popular. It was all 5-star reviews before this happened. There was maybe a couple here and there of your typical, it can't please everyone. Everyone's going to, something innocuous happens, and then, I'm going to give it a 1-star. We deal with that all the time at our store. But it looks like a great community. Lots of people having fun, no complaints. And then this happens. Then they get a bunch of 1-star reviews and people outraged and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, yeah, back to your thing. Losing the WPN matters. A lot of people say it doesn't matter. Oh, it matters. I mean, I guess if you're in a large area and you don't care about running pre-releases, you don't care about running PPTQs or having access to exclusive products or all of that shenanigans, then it doesn't matter. If you somehow can get enough clients where you can just sell booster boxes and that's that, it's not a big deal to lose WPN. But if you actually want to be a game store and have a thriving community that plays, it's really important to have that WPN.
So what kind of, let's say you have a store and then all of a sudden you lose that WPN. Let's say, like, theoretically, what kind of outlook would you say if this were to happen to you? Like, if you were to step on Wizards' toes?
Well, wouldn't be able to do FNMs, wouldn't get FNM promos, wouldn't get all the like promotional materials. Like in our hallway, we have a Garrick and an Avacyn and a Nicol Bolas and all that fun stuff that Wizard sends us. Don't get to be on the WPN locator. So there's a lot of, and people have come into my store. Plenty of people come in my store like, hey, we saw a store was on there because of the WPN locator.
What's the ratio for that with like newer people that you don't see? Like what kind of ratio?
I don't know, because people get the wrong idea about my store. I'm in the literal desert. I'm in the middle of nowhere. The only reason my town exists is that we are on I-15, or on I-70 actually. So we're the halfway stop between Denver and LA. So for us, we started a store just because we wanted the community to have a place to play. We're the only place to play. We kind of got a monopoly on where people can play. But for people in a bigger city or even a smaller city that needs to be found, that's huge. That's going to be, I would say, 35% upwards of people coming in like, oh, there's a store, I'm going to go check it out. Whenever I'm in a city, like on vacation or just traveling through, I'll plug in the WPN and be like, oh, there's a Magic store. When I was driving through, what was it, Cortez, Colorado, I looked up the WPN, like, I'm going to go and see if I can stop in and check the store out type thing. So, yeah, it's pretty important in my opinion.
Yeah, that seems so. Of course, this store loses their WPN status, and honestly, I guess we're kind of spoiled here in the Portland area. If a store were to lose its WPN status, it wouldn't be that impactful in our culture, particularly because there's like at least half a dozen, if not more, around here.
No, but that's one of the ways that's one of the reasons it is important.
Yeah,
because it puts you on the list in
right
listing with all those other people, right?
So right.
If you have Magic cards and you have the ability to have an FNM tournament, that's in many cases what people are looking for, or they're looking for as some sort of sanctioned event, right?
Right.
The WPN gets you on that list in equal terms with everybody else in your city. So, an equal outpouring for everybody, an equal amount of advertising for everybody, and Google searches and all that stuff too, right?
Right. And I was, of course, there is that, but I was talking about in specific, like if you're kind of like in Kevin's situation where like you're the only store within that area, and you kind of like need that in order to survive essentially, and just I don't know, like let's say because Kevin, you've pointed this out and you've argued with me against this before, that I'm kind of a slippery slope guy. I like to think in glass half empty a lot. So do you think Wizards could like theoretically perform a crackdown like this on other stores?
Oh, they already have been doing that. It's funny, they reversed a bunch of their policies. About 2 years ago, a bunch of stores in the UK area got shut down because they were upstairs of a pub,
Mm-hmm.
or next door to a pub, or they had some sort of affiliation with a pub. And then so Wizards, just without even again communicating with them, shut down their WPN. So this has been going on for a while. This isn't the first store that's been hit by stuff like this. This is rare though. The last store that I remember, at least in the because I'm part of like some Facebook groups that are specifically for members of the WPN. I think the last one that got shut down was some guy that was kind of really off the wall, racist tweets, things like that. So this is setting a huge precedent though over a Kekistan flag and someone defacing the little welcome.
I forgot to do that. I was gonna hang the Kekistan
flag there.
The playmat. I forgot to do that. God damn it! I also forgot. Now that I'm looking at it, I'm wearing a Cardsphere hat. I forgot to give a shout out to Ted from Cardsphere for sending me a free hat, and he's a pseudo sponsor of the channel. And I guess since we've reached a like halfway kind of point, or like a third of the way point, don't they usually do that for podcasts anyways, where they shove ads in here? This is kind of a pseudo ad because I got it for free and I just wanted to shout them out. But in addition to further the shill, instead of us receiving a sponsor, I decided I'm gonna give it forward and I'm gonna shout out another YouTube channel, a smaller one, and I want to sponsor them. And I'm going to continue doing this for each episode. And the first one for this episode is MTG Vintage Crack, and they're they're hovering around 150 subscribers. They're a box opening channel, but they specialize in opening both modern kind of packs and then a bunch of like older stuff. Like they recently opened a French revised pack, and they opened a Savannah, I believe, and they got it graded, and it was like a 9.5. So it's a cool. Yeah, it's cool content. If you guys want to go check that out, we're going to be doing this every week, shouting out someone else. So I left a link in the description if you want to go check that out. And then, of course, if you're not already subscribed to me, go check out Rogue Deckbuilder's channel. And moving back to what we were talking about before. There's something that diverted from all of this drama that I kind of wanted to touch over, which is just another extension of that drama. So Saffron Olive got dragged into this because, well, I wouldn't say undeservedly, because he helped signal boost. And I mentioned earlier the signal boosting. He tweeted this out to his followers. And naturally, a lot of people on the other side of the MTG quote unquote culture war or whatever did not take kindly to this, and they're like, you're signal boosting and you are, in some people's words verbatim, you're being a coward. It's a bit excessive in my opinion. What's your guys' opinion on this? Sean, we'll start with you.
I mean, if the guy did it for what reason? Because he wanted to police these people's store?
I don't know. It seemed like he was just making a catty comment, like at the most, like he just that's. It doesn't seem like he was like trying to wail or like be a tattletale bitch. It just seemed like he was trying to make a tweet for some likes. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Well, that could be it too. Maybe it is just a matter of making something for content's sake. But in commenting on this and taking his signal and making sure that it gets out further into the world. I mean, he's really doing this store specifically a major disservice. Like,
yeah,
their WPN status.
And now that this store has lost their WPN status, the ire towards Saffron Olive and MTG Goldfish by extension has only increased. And of course. So Rogue, what do you think about this?
Well, I think it started at first with there was a big outrage about the poster. Mm-hmm. And I think Seth first was like, we don't even know if some kids just
Right.
deface. So it almost was like, let's not jump to conclusions. But then a few hours later responded back with, I guess not. Look at this store. It's got Kekistan flags. And that's what just made me facepalm. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? Is it all of a sudden like now it's a big sin because there's Kekistan flags in a store? Oh, come on.
I was about to. Maybe that's why MTG Goldfish won't affiliate with you or anything like that. Maybe that's why.
No, it was pre the Kekistan flag that they wouldn't affiliate with me. It was more hostility to the Magic the Gathering community video.
Oh, okay. So
I rewatch that video all the time, and I still, what did I say in that was so bad?
Yeah, I've watched it too. I've watched it quite a few times too, and I'm just like, I don't really see what's so fucking bad about this.
But I mean, it had the effect of like on Magic Age, it's what was the catalyst to pushing me over the edge. I was so tame before that video. When I got the hate from that video and I started getting attacked by people, it's like, okay, gloves off now. If that's what it takes for them to exile me from the community, to before then I was on Walking the Plains with the Nate.
Nate Holt. Yeah.
I'd been, interviewed by people in the WotC, met a bunch of them at the Pro Tour. That was okay. Well, there's no way I can play nice then because it's eventually going to, they're going to find some other dirt on me that it's way more damning than that. So I just decided to become very transparent with my, beliefs and. But yeah.
I feel like it pays off though. Like it helps to stand out because I don't know, not to just shit on a bunch of creators, but a lot of people just like repeat on the same bullet points. And it's nice when you hear someone actually like speak their mind, whether or not someone agrees with it. That's kind of the point, right? You're supposed to share different opinions so that way it's challenging and you can learn and you can grow and expand. But it just seems like people in the Magic the Gathering community, very specific people, are trying to not to do that. They're trying to do the opposite, and they're trying to build walls and keep certain trains of thoughts out because, God, I don't want to bring politics in this, but it's by extension politics because of like the Kekistani flag, and that's a very representative of like politics are a reason why there's such a division in the Magic the Gathering community, and I just don't fucking get it. I don't understand why. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Because people just can't even deal with people who have thoughts other than their own. And why would you ever want to associate with those people, right? Who fly the Kekistan flag? Like,
is it because they're still sore? Is it because the people who quote unquote won are overconfident and they're rubbing it in everyone's faces? And that's what happened with the Barack Obama election. All the Democrats were rubbing it in the Republicans' faces because there was like Bush, and we had to deal with like 8 years of that shit, and like there was that whole basis of comedy kind of started with that, and then it expounded with like Stephen Colbert and all that, and Trevor Noah, and now we've like reached this weird dichotomy where a lot of the country is right, and a lot of the media and people that want to be angry now are just not even being joking anymore. They're being a bit unreasonable, violent. Even it doesn't even make sense, and it's bleeding into the Magic the Gathering community, and it has been for a while. And it's like we're reaching this crux point where stores are literally being blacklisted because of stupid fucking flags and
memes,
jokes,
4chan jokes. That Wizards can't even realize that exactly they're playing right into 4chan. The whole Kekistan thing was meant for exactly this, to have people get outraged over nothing, over a flag. How can we turn an innocuous little frog, an innocent little frog, into a hate symbol? I know how. And they did it. It became like overnight, they were able to get people to be outraged by it. So let me address on this comment real quick by Anthony. So, because it's going back to, I don't want to focus too much. I mean, Seth's a friend of mine, and at least, or we've been friendly. I don't want to call people friends because then they tell me I'm not their friend. So get backpedal on that when they want to disassociate themselves with me. But anyway, I've liked and respected Seth for a long time. Yeah, we used to communicate pretty frequently, and whatnot. But and so the problem I'm having with it is not only just Seth, but a lot of people that I associate with. It seems like that they're not quite out, like full blown out there, like some people like Illy on TV and AJ Satcher and Jeff Hoogland that are just whack jobs, just crazy when it comes to their political ire that they just, but a lot of people still associate with them. And it's almost like they're playing this middle of the road or like this, like brownie points. Like I'm going to score some brownie points here with Wizards by taking on this mantle, by, siding with them on this. And unfortunately, that's what I'm seeing with people like Seth. So yeah, do I believe he could go back in time and take back this tweet? Probably, because Seth doesn't want to be causing controversy. However, I can't help but see that little by little, Seth has been abandoning his rural New York kind of upbringing and persona. I spoke on private with Seth before when the whole community was divided back in November. And we talked about flyover states and how Wizards just doesn't seem to give a crap about, people that don't live in either the extreme West or the extreme East. That many of us have either conservative ideals or even centrist ideals, and we don't like this outrage. But it just seems to me that Seth and some particular other people, I'm not going to completely name names that I used to be associated with or still am associated with, little by little have been trying for those brownie points, trying to score those wins. Hey, maybe I can get a promo if I get on the attack train here, and it's just drive me insane.
I was actually considering creating a second channel, like maybe having my sister host it or have another friend host it, and like see if we can't make it so we can suck Wizard's dick and like try to do that and get like, because I've seen small creators get like the little hookups, like play at spell slinging events or get promos. I'm like, man, if it can be that easy nowadays, I wonder if I can pull some strings and do some really fun shit like that. I'm sure you could.
Well, I was going to do that with her. We had a girl that used to come in here and play. We called her, and she was a big time Bernie Sanders supporter. And so, of course, I couldn't let that roll. So we go back and forth. But it was like a mutual, who you can joke around with, or who you can even debate with, and gloves off debate with. And this is one of those type of person where she didn't take anything personal. We could be at each other's throats politically, but we could still, be playing a friendly Commander game. And I'm like, this would make a good opportunity. Maybe we should start a channel with, and she had colored hair, and I called her SJW. That was her nickname, even though she wasn't an SJW, but it was. So I'm like, I wonder if we can start a channel and how fast we can get a spoiler from Wizards just by, use the exact same mic, the exact same video camera, exact same IP address, everything, and then just see how quickly they embrace it.
Oh my god,
it's a social experiment. But
I've been thinking about doing that. There's a bunch of there's a bunch of ideas that I have in store, and like I kind of don't necessarily. I'm not necessarily wanting to be trolly. Like I kind of want to make amends and like not necessarily build bridges, but just like kind of stop being an asshole. But I kind of also want to like try weird random shit. And then I see channels like Magic AIDS who just gets completely shit on for the wrong reason, and then he just goes ham on it. Like McB, I don't think I've shared any of this with you. Have you, or do you watch Magic AIDS? Are you subscribed to him? No. Or he's known as Magic Rainbows now on MTGO?
Negative. That's negative on that one. So
he's this YouTube channel, and he's mostly well known for building or being the progenitor of the modern 5 color humans list, if not more. Was there anything else that he's like credited for, Kevin?
I don't like. I'm not that well versed on how it started popping up in my feed because it would seem to be a recommended video like crazy. Is how I got on Magic AIDS. Yeah, definitely was going off the beaten path with a lot of modern decks, at least trying out some cards that typically don't go in those decks. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was interesting to watch.
He was like, what was that?
Another fellow brewer, so of course that's always nice.
Of course, he's an actual brewer, not me. Where I'll just slap 4 copies of Hardicuran in a red-white deck. But
Well, that's kind of is one of my criticisms of Magic AIDS. Is it literally is just like, oh, let's do this deck. Okay, it's already a deck. Just because you add a couple different cards in it, it's not like this big. Man, I'm a brew purist, aren't I? Jeez.
Right, a brew elitist, brew elitist. That should be a series where you criticize submitted brews and you're the brew elitist or whatever. There you go. There's an idea for your channel. Easy content.
You can call it brewmance.
Hey, there we go. But I really like his content because he approaches MTGO gameplay in a different way where he like hyper edits it with like cutouts and stuff and he makes it look really good. And he just like on his YouTube handle Magic Aids, on MTGO it's the same thing. And I guess maybe someone just got butthurt because they got steamrolled by him or whatever, and they must have reported it to Wizards. And Wizards contacted him and they said, hey, you know, this ain't cool. And so he changed his name. And he did so by making a pretty funny response video, just kind of just shitting on him while also doing a really sarcastic, like, we gotta be safe and we gotta be inclusive. And he's been on this shtick for a while, and because he changed his name to Magic Rainbow, so he's been just going full throttle with this. And he released a video like 2 or 3 days ago, and I said it then, and I'll still say it today. It's one of my favorite Magic the Gathering videos on YouTube, like in general, just because of like it's the production quality. It's really surreal. It's almost like watching a day. Who's the director for The Social Network and Seven? David Fincher or something like that. It's kind of like watching that, but as like a Magic video. And it's like he's like feeding Chandra and Nissa rainbow ice cream, and he's like slapping Garrick's hand because of his toxic masculinity. And then he's talking to Liliana, and Liliana is like a blow-up sex doll and with like the black hair and like a crude cosplay remake, and like shoots glitter out of her mouth and vagina. It's fucking amazing. You have to check it out, everyone, in the chat and McBee when you're done with this. He's like, I think I may have mentioned this on Twitter, but when it comes to reacting to Wizards in terms of their unreasonableness with how stringent they are with the rules, you could go on one end of the spectrum where you could be an unsleeved media and you could just kind of go into meltdown mode and just like, I'm going to start exposing, judge rapists and all this other shit. I'm just going to be a rabble rouser. Or you could be like Magic Aids. Then again, he was banned for life, so there's more of a justification for that. Or you could be like Magic Aids and kind of just play along with it and just start being a thorn in their side in like a more not constructive, but just a, I don't know, more entertaining way, and I don't know, more methodical.
Yeah, that's what I've chosen to take that route too. That's why I've been memeing at Mark Rosewater with my half naked pictures and things like that lately. It's like either I can get really salty and be angry at Wizards and just keep, spewing out just bile at them over and over, or I can just have fun with it and meme their stupidity. So my master plan with that is I'm getting buff. I'm doing it. I am going to cosplay that. And when the cosplay community does not accept me, I'm going to cry bloody murder. It's going to be fun.
Oh man, we can get like a bunch of people to get upset about this. The cosplay community is very like sex positive and all that kind of stuff. And if they do the whole like it makes children uncomfortable and like you can't do this and blah blah blah. Oh yeah, it's gonna be fucking amazing. I need to go to this event. Whichever one are you going to? Are you going to like GP Vegas or something next year with this?
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get in shape by then, but I'm lazy, so hopefully.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take my MTG brewing skills and I'm gonna apply that to cosplay. So I'm gonna like half-ass like a Ma of the Obsidat cosplay or something like where I can utilize my beer gut. It's gonna be great.
You can just cosplay one of the goblins that's oodling me.
Ooh, that's not bad. I can like try and dress up as like Goblin Rabble Master or something.
Yeah.
You could be a green goblin, dude. Paint your skin green a little bit. Maybe get yourself like a loincloth. I mean, you're pretty much there.
Well, have you seen that picture? The enthralling Victor?
Yeah, that's from Magic Origins, right?
Yeah. Because it's just one of those funny ones where we have to all the pirates have to be in fur coats, all the female pirates. But yeah, enthralling Victor can literally be, I can't say the R word, fondled by goblins on,
Thank you.
Ooh,
Thank you.
yeah.
I was about to say, like, there's specific words that automatically get you demonetized, and I like how certain YouTubers will like use very specific but also obvious replacements for it. It's weird. Like,
your man's got an 8-pack in that picture though. He is strapped.
Right?
It's gonna be tough.
That swimming life.
Yeah.
Might have to roid a little bit to get there.
Hey man, whatever it takes. You're not like being paid by like a major sports league, so you'll be fine. And you still got a head of hair. You don't need to worry about it. You're fine. So aside from before we move on, Sean, I didn't really ask you about this whole Magic 8 situation. We kind of been going back and forth, Kevin and I.
Oh, that's all right.
Tell me, what do you think about this Magic 8 situation? Like, if you were in this situation, if you're like a content creator and you got slapped like in the wrist by this, what would your appropriate reaction be?
I mean, did they send him a cease and desist?
Pretty much. They're like, you need to cut this shit out now, kind of thing.
Wow. And I mean, I really do like the fact that he's like turning it into just pure satire of their crazy SJW agenda. He's like, just rainbows, you're like targeting the toxic masculinity. That's an excellent idea. All that seems absolutely fine to me. And keep running with that too. Like straight Stephen Colbert right there.
And like, I think it's either his newest or he may have uploaded a newer video. It's like a 5-color list, and it's like 5-color wizards, 5-color triggered wizards built around a bond, Dean of Iteration. And he made the effort to put in a PNG image of a rainbow within every single image of a wizard in that deck. That's fucking commitment right there.
Masterful.
And he would turn it 90 degrees whenever the creature was tapped and everything. He commits, dude. He's one of the best and like more underrated like MTG content creators when it comes to in terms of like being a workhorse and producing like something that's like top-notch quality and like effort. And just like when I see creators like that in heuristic studies, I'm like, man, more people should be paying attention to that kind of shit.
Great. Heuristic studies is amazing.
Mm-hmm. We need,
dude, his voiceover work in all of his episodes is top notch. That guy is a great editor, and he has a great visual style, and he does a dynamite voiceover. Those are all very good things in a YouTube video. Hey, I have a question for you guys actually. When we're talking about kind of the agenda of Wizards to kind of like push their people who are the content creators of the world out there to try and push them in a given direction. Where do you think that their bias and their not their bias, sort of their lean and their agenda comes from? Like, do you think one person at the top is like, hey, we need to direct people towards this sort of set of standards, and we need to police people's speech, around our game? Or do you think that it's just a product of all the things that are being thrown at them all at once, and they don't know how to handle it?
I can answer this. One word. Seattle.
Oh yeah?
Really?
That's it. It makes, well, the thing is that you are located in a specific area. Your culture is gonna become that location. So Wizards probably went there during the tech industry. Seattle was a great place for it. It's West Coast. That's where game companies, Blizzard, tons of companies in the either the Northwest or Northern California, that sort of area, had a lot of these startup tech companies, startup game companies. But slowly over time, Seattle's just become more insane as time. I mean, Seattle is I think it's overtaken even like San Francisco or New York, or I can't think of a more extreme part of the United States as far as on that spectrum. And unfortunately, I think the Wizards is run like a company of how they can kind of like keeping up with the Joneses in their culture. They like to show off, like, look what we did. Look how inclusive we are with this new thing. And so instead of trying to make a great product, instead of trying to focus on your product, it's more about focus on how you can show off next to your cheese and wine party with other, yuppies, other elitists in the Seattle area.
Wow, that absolutely makes so much sense and blows my mind. Because people who have money and people who are in power at a company like that, who are they going to associate with? They're going to associate with other people around there, folks that work at Amazon, folks that work at Starbucks, folks that work at other big companies that are up there, that are headquarters there. And I'm sure that that's a huge, hey kitty, and I'm sure that that's a huge thing on their friends list also, is to be inclusive, is to promote LGBTQIA people, to certainly like being inclusive in so many different ways. And they're going to try and one up their friends, right? Like they're going to try and show off how good their company is at that. And that may trickle down to the people that work for them as well, are like executing this agenda based on what they're trying to do to keep up with the Joneses. That makes so much sense.
Well, you can look at their Glassdoor reviews too, and that's definitely going on, because people in Glassdoor have stated that that's what happens, that people are getting promoted based upon, hitting the, we need this person here and that fits that demographic to check off that box. And it's just a garbage fire now with stuff. Instead of people being promoted on their merit, they're promoted on their political beliefs.
And whether or not they fit into the culture of that as well.
Yeah.
Like it's, man, that is.
They're not recruiting in the gaming industry. They're not recruiting people that are actually skilled in those areas. They are literally, Wizards of the Coast also wants to be one of those promote from the bottom companies, which I always think is a huge mistake. So they're taking their interns and putting them on creative writing.
Yeah.
Just go look at the story or what is the one that's got me blocked on Twitter because I'm mean to her. Allison.
Yeah,
Allison was literally hired as an intern to oversee social media, but they bullied her on social media. So of course, White Knight Trick Jarrett had to protect her from all the mean bullies, all the mean people on Reddit, and they had to go find a place for her because she can't hack social media. So let's put her in creative writing. Really? I mean, that's sure. I guess if you had a intern that was just amazing at writing or something, I can see like promoting from. I'm a big believer in trying to build people up, but sometimes that doesn't make the best decision when there's talent out there. Look how many people are willing to work for Wizards of the Coast because of their dream job. They are I guarantee much more skilled than what they have right now in programming, in cardstock quality, in manufacturing and shipping. Nope, we're going to find interns that happen to have our political ideology, and we're gonna put them through the ranks.
Wasn't she the
MTGO?
one?
Look at MTGO. The one that was attacking Boogie is now over MTGO.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
When the hell did that happen? Why the hell did that happen?
Maybe it was was the Boogie thing before or after?
After, but she was attacking Jeremy way before that, and a bunch of other things too. Like that was one of the accounts that was exposed to being extremely like political on Twitter, and whatnot. And again, I don't know if this person has a lot of like software background. It just seemed to be like, oh, we need to throw this person. So Lee was thrown over to Arena, and Worth was completely let go. And then, they threw someone else in over MTGO. And it's just, I don't know. It's just, everything is so suspect with Wizards of the Coast. Just look at the fall of Mark Rosewater. He used to be a very edgy person himself. And now he's just completely dancing around topics and things that he had no problem with. Look at Unglued and Unhinged and worked for Roseanne. And you can find history of things he said and done. Completely different from the Mark Rosewater of today.
Yeah, I mean, just go look at the uncards.
Yeah.
Well, plus, and if he was a writer of any kind, then he's a comedian. And if you're a comedian, you know that you need to make people uncomfortable.
You have to make them angry. That's the number one rule of comedy. Make them angry so it gives them a reason to stay.
Yeah, if it's not uncomfortable on some level, then it's probably not getting you a laugh either.
How has Wizards not distanced themselves from South Park yet? That's my biggest question.
Right, that whole cock magic thing. Like,
well, we loved it. Remember, everyone in Trick Jarrett tweeted cock magic was the funniest thing ever. But after that, I'm talking about what season was cock magic. Right after that, that's when South Park really started going after the social justice warrior culture. And he had PC Principal and then the whole season of member berries that just.
I haven't followed up with South Park in a long time. Maybe I should.
Dude, it continues to be amazing.
Yeah, and they
stay relevant.
Hold back no punches. Like nothing is sacred. And in Wizards of the Coast, of course, everything's sacred. You say the word thought, you're completely excluded now because you can't have an opinion on motivations of people.
I heard that they don't like that word so much they're thinking about changing the name of Thoughtseize.
Oh God! Throwback to the cringe, the cringe image of Thoughtseize, but written as THOT, and then someone put in the image of Triumph of Ferocity in there.
I wonder who did that.
Was that you? Was that you? Were you the originator of that?
I wonder.
Okay, because someone put an Unsleeved Media's head on top of that and Christine Sprinkle's head on top of the Liliana one. Was that you too, or?
I will not confirm nor deny that.
Okay, cool.
Are you the one that messed with that sign at a store of games and whatever?
Are you the meme bandit?
I wish I would go to Long Island. Now I want to make a what's the religious what's it called, a religious travel pilgrimage. I want to make a pilgrimage now to the Long Island Store of Fire and Dice. Now I feel like I need to go visit the motherland. In
solidarity, stand with them, Kevin. Yeah. Us rogues, we have to stand together.
Yep.
So since we're talking so much shit on Wizards, let's continue doing so, because Wizards of the Coast, well, I don't know how badly this will affect other stores, but it was either released today or yesterday that Wizards of the Coast will no longer be supplying their own allocation towards stores, whereas it'll only be distributors, right? Distributors are the only people that can give LGS as their sealed product now, right?
Yeah. August 15th or something, mid-August. Yep.
So do you know why they made this change? Were there any signs coming? Was there any?
I have some theories about it. Well, first of all, coming from my standpoint of being a WP or being a store that has to order from Wizards, Wizards is very incompetent about. This will show a little bit of their culture too. It's hard to get a hold of them. It's always busy. The phones are busy. They don't have the best customer service. Seems like they're understaffed in that area to begin with. I remember sometimes we'd order things on Thursday and they wouldn't even get around to shipping it off to Tuesday type thing. And they were just bad at their job. However the Wizards was handling it, they definitely were not doing an acceptable job. And I think it just became, as a company, you need to realize that I used to work for a company that managed American Express's warehouse, because American Express realizes, hey, we're a credit card processing company or a credit card company. Why are we someone else can manage our warehouse better than we can. So they outsource it to a company to do so. So I think this is Wizards' way of just distributors have a better line of distribution than we have. That's probably the better route to go. My biggest theory is that they're down about 21% in revenue year over year. And this is a cost saving measure. Instead of there's ways that you can heads have to roll when that happens. Something has to change. You can't just go as business as usual when you're down a fifth of your revenue. And I think that this is one way to do it, is to cut costs, and this was just something that is on the chopping block, unnecessary. So
I was going to say, that merger or I don't know if it was really a merger. It's not a merger in technical terms, but the fact where they signed a contract with Channel Fireball, maybe was that a reason companies were bidding for rights to run GPs, and as a result, it was more expensive. So they just cut a deal with CFB, maybe.
Yeah. I think that Wizards also realized they're pretty terrible at running Grand Prix. Didn't they used to have a bigger hand in that? I'm not sure, but it was really the Star City Open series that forced Wizards to actually do better GPs to begin with. Because I think it was one that a bunch of pros decided to go to a Star City Open. This was years ago, 5-6 years ago. And it was a big eye opener for Wizards that they had to get their act together. So a company like Channel Fireball, one thing also that you can if you outsource these type of things is you can shift the blame to that particular company. I know that was what some
like the DCI and that kind of shit.
Well,
Kinda.
or just like for my example, when we used to I end up actually, I lost my job before this happened, but funny story for another day. Why? But anyway, my company I used to work for ended up losing their contract with American Express because they're outbid by another company. So it gives you the option open to be like, hey, I don't like how this is being run. Okay. Channel Fireball, here's this other company, here's Star City Games, we're going to give it to them unless you up your, it always gives them an option. If you're running it, you're kind of stuck with all the overhead, your employees. You can't just fire your employees that easy. There's always, things but you can easily just fire a company, no questions asked. So I think it makes a lot of sense having a company like Channel Fireball run a GP. What I don't like is the monopolization of one company getting it. I like the competition of, trying to outdo each other. When Star City Games got some GPs and Channel Fireball got some GPs, and I guess with distributors, it can be this way as well.
Could you theoretically see a homogenization? Like if CFB was like, hey, you're stretching our resources too thin, to where Wizards is like, okay, West Coast and Midwest, that's CFB, East Coast and all of the East, obviously that's Star City Games. Could you see something like that?
They could. I just think that they have a huge relationship with Channel Fireball now that's it's getting actually very suspect with the crossover between the two. A little bit of conflict of interest, I think, with
I thought it was kind of strange seeing one of the big heads over at CFB being a commentator over at Wizards of the Coast and working with them exclusively for a year as a result. It was just well,
LSV owns Channel Fireball. And look at all the promotion he gets. So
okay, I didn't know if he co-owned or something.
Well, he co-owns it. So
okay, yeah, that was already really strange to me now, and I don't know. I don't really keep my ear to the ground with that kind of stuff. Do you?
No, and again, it's not that big of an issue. I'm not going to make mountains out of molehills for some things. So if it's done without any sort of corruption, I'm not that big of a stickler on it. If it does start to have a massive conflict of interest where people's backs are getting scratched, in my opinion, if they're getting insider information about stuff and able to make business decisions, especially when it comes to secondary market on that kind of stuff, that's when I'm going to get ticked off. But
do you entertain the conspiracy theory that Wizards of the Coast employees take advantage of that and they'll buy certain cards earlier before certain set releases or spoilers happen or whatever?
They absolutely do. I have proof of it. I've at GP Vegas this time, one of my fans came up to me and said, sell your scape shifts, sell your Crucible of Worlds. They are going to be reprinted in M19.
No shit.
Gave me the date that it was going to be spoiled, said that he has an insider at Wizards of the Coast, and they do this all the time. They spec on everything. They drive prices up.
Oh my God.
There's a lot of dirty crap that's going on within the Magic Gathering finance. We saw Rampaging Frostodon have a huge sell-off on MTGO before it was banned. And no one thought it was going to be banned because that wasn't the Boogeyman deck. The Boogeyman deck was energy. So it's only someone with information that there was no one that thought Rampaging Frostodon was going to go. So
yeah, because I remember, because still to this day, it's one of those bannings that everyone still is like, what? Why? And people will try to justify posts. It's like, it's a 3/3 for 3 with mana. So I mean, why wouldn't it get banned?
Well, it's a bad design card. I'm all for even banning more cards that are just bad design cards, just even if they don't see a ton of play, just because they're bad design. But
you're more for an aggressive ban kind of thing?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I'd ban
everything. Because it's the only way that Magic can balance its game. There are things that end up not working as intended. Why don't just kill those cards? Dota or StarCraft or all these other games don't just oh man, that ability is not working how we wanted it. It's kind of there's too much variance on it. We don't want that. Let's just get rid of it.
Is it as much of as a monetary investment in those games as it is in Magic though?
No, that's the problem. Once you print a card, it's printed. You can't go back and change it. So I understand that scope of it, but for at least the competitive circuit of Magic, I'd be way more. If I was in charge of R&D or whatever the department is, I'd ban the hell out of everything.
So let's say this, because I'm one of those people that like to entertain the thought of thinking that eventually it's going to move from paper over to digital. Let's say Wizards of the Coast kind of tries that out and they like start aggressively banning on MTG Arena or make erratas in certain specific ways. Would you take advantage of that if that were the case, or could you see Wizards even trying that in the first place?
Well, how would I take advantage of it? What are you implying with
Like just play it and just like play the shit out of it instead of playing paper. You just replace it with Arena theoretically.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll just play wherever it gives me the most enjoyment for me. So I'm not one of those that thinks that it's going to go 100% digital. They own the paper market. I think that Chris Cox is being very unreasonable with his his lust for the digital market. We have another competitor coming out called Artifact that is going to put, and that was conveniently named Artifact so it can, hit the search engines and things like that. That's run by a very competent company with a lot of money that knows how to run an esport. So Wizards should be very afraid.
And it's closely developed, or the game was designed by Richard Garfield, wasn't it?
He's still a part of it apparently. So Artifact is on the lowdown at the moment because it had such a horrible reception.
Yeah, because everyone wanted a recognizable Valve IP, like a Half-Life or a Left 4 Dead, and then they're just like, boom, Dota card game, and everyone's like, oh.
Yeah, and it was to a group that didn't really care about card games. MOBAs have overlaps, of course. MOBAs and card games for me are my two favorite, but not everyone's like that.
So Adelwolf, in the comments, he mentioned something that I forgot because I played Yu-Gi-Oh! And I still do to this day. They retcon cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! All the time with erratas and then later printings with erratas. It makes me wonder, why don't they do that in Magic? It makes a lot of sense. Like, you just errata it before it gets reprinted, and the competitive players will know regardless, and then the casual players, they'll learn incidentally, whatever. It's just another one of those inconveniences of TCGs. Why don't they do that? Why doesn't Wizards embrace what other TCG games are doing with their rules? Like, I know for a fact, because I saw earlier on Twitter, when Legends was released, around that time, maybe in 1995, they changed the rule that, McBean, maybe you remember this, legendary cards were restricted to one copy per deck. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Does that as like their form of banning, where a card will be banned if it's super broken, but if it's like teetering on the edge of being broken, one copy. If they have an eye on it, 2 copies. Or if it's a worrisome card, then, or, how it goes, because 3 copies in Yu-Gi-Oh! Why doesn't Magic just start embracing what other card games are doing? Why aren't they integrating certain mechanics and other parts to bolster the quality of their game instead of like trying to maintain their identity? Because obviously you want to maintain your identity, but if they've already had these limited copy rules before, why not just implement them in today's day and age? Because I'm sure standard would be fine if you had 1 copy of Attune with Ether, or 1 copy of Etherworks Marvel, or 1 copy of Rogue Refiner.
Well, they haven't done it for a long time, and I don't think there was ever a Legends rule where you can only have 1 of in your deck. You could have 1, and then you could have 4 in your deck, and then if you played both, they would both blow up, right? That's kind of always been the thing.
Yeah, that's kind of how it was.
Restricting, like they restrict a card, but for the most part in Magic, as long as I've been around, the only time they've ever errated anything is when it creates some sort of crazy loop that busts it super hard. So Parallax Wave got an errata to it so that you couldn't stack it in a certain way to like wave out a wave and then wave out another wave and then just like loop it over and over again with opalescence. So you'd have to have 3 of them in play at once to be able to like stack it right. Or errating the Fiend Hunter so that it, instead of having an exit and enter trigger, it's just, as long as this thing is in play, the thing is exiled. Like they don't do that for the most part. They just make a functional reprint later on. They seem to not want to operate with those kind of rules anymore and not want to restrict things because they haven't done that in ages. Not since 95, right? And they've been restricting things. I think it goes back to they have not done it and they have not set a precedent to do it, so they don't do it.
What do you think, Rogue?
It's just messy trying to rat stuff. The less, the better.
What about
you can correct your mistakes by creating cards in the future a lot easier than trying to change cards of the past, in my opinion. But I mean, it would be interesting if they were to go fully over to digital. It'd be very easy. They could just do it. People hate that about Hearthstone, though.
I mean, but at least it's more convenient, though. I mean, yeah, you still get to play with your cards or whatever. Like, even if you had to grind and earn them, and you had to play with, you still get to play with them, even if they're severely gimped as a result. But I'm sure it's better than just getting completely blown out and just like, I'm going to build Birthing Pod, ban. Okay, I'm going to build Splinter Twin, ban. All right, I'm going to go play Standard. I'm going to play Blue White Flash, banned. I have a friend who actually had that happen to them.
Your friend has shitty luck. Tough.
Really shitty luck. And then he built Etherworks, the Ulamog Etherworks deck, and then banned. It was just, I felt
shitty luck, or just, I'm only going to play the tier 1 deck all the time, every time. Can't go outside of that box. Got to always play the tier 1 deck. Yeah, I have no sympathy with those people.
Right, like maybe after having it happen the first 2 times, maybe you should stop. But then again,
exact same thing. People like instance that comes to my mind is everyone whined at Lena. There was a character called Lena, and it was just broken, and everyone knew it was getting the ban hammer. And oh man, they whined when Lena got nerfed. Oh, I'm never playing Dota again, even though there's like 80 characters or whatever. I'm never playing it again because my one character that was making the game miserable for everyone else gets nerfed a little bit. And then so what do? Of course, the empty threats. They then pick the next character that is just begging for a nerf, and then whine about that, rinse and repeat. All right, the writing's on the wall. If a deck is like this oppressive, people should not be touching Crackling Ironworks at the moment if they're worried about a ban.
I agree.
Right,
so
like that's
writing on the wall. Get out of there.
Yeah.
If it's degenerate, if it's stupid, if it looks busted, it probably is busted, and is gonna get busted out.
And most importantly, if it drags out the game, it makes it boring. You have like the eggs situation or the top situation.
However, I do think Wizards should be a lot more transparent. There should be a watch list. There should be Wizards saying, hey, everyone, these are the cards we are following closely. These are up for debate. These are things that if this happens, but Wizards, again, it's just such a, we know a ban restricted announcement's coming up. What could be on it? And then they surprise us a lot of times with it. And that's the more communication between Wizards and his players, the better.
Oh, fully agree on that one. Fully agree. And things are so like, oh god, they're so fragmented with Wizards. People in power. Like folks on Twitter, they all have their own, voice to go along with it, to go along with what Wizards is saying, and it's madness, man. They need to get that shit on lockdown. Like unify your message, people, and be transparent at the same time. Also, cats.
Always cats. I don't think this would be a normal Mana Dorks podcast without a cat. I think you'd be an imposter, like Perp points out in the chat, because Rogue Deckbuilder is missing his signature Clorox wipes. Whatever. The meme doesn't have to be 100%.
Too lazy to find it.
You got tinfoil. That's close enough. What's the tinfoil even for?
Meth.
I don't know. Zach's like making meth back here or something.
Yes.
Sure. What are you doing with the tinfoil back here, Zach?
What tinfoil? That's not tinfoil.
It's wax paper. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Like, I'm going to take your leftovers, I'm going to turn it into a goose.
Watch my video and you can see how to make a wet palette.
He's making wet pallets, whatever that means. Whatever innuendo that is.
Right? What the fuck's a wet palette?
Dude, I've called you a wet palette before. Come on.
Dude, I have garbage memory, okay? I'm impossible to even get a hold of. You'll message me and I'll like remember the next day that, oh yeah, that person messaged me. I'll get to them, and then 3 days later I'll finally get back to them. That's the kind of friend I am. Come on now.
And the whole time you've just been sitting there smoking weed. It's
a true story. It's a true story.
They don't have that in your state, do they, Senor?
Have weed?
Yeah.
Well, no, they have it, of course. It's there, but it's legal, right?
My city is making, well, actually, I think it goes to the state, but do not speed through Richfield, Utah. They will, if you have a non-Utah license plate, they will pull you over looking for weed.
Really?
It's a racket. All they do is impound your car for a day and then make you pay the impounding fee. They're not interested in like prosecuting.
Yo, remind me not to drive through Utah because they will find that shit.
Yep. Well, I mean, we're the halfway point between LA and Denver. So now Nevada has recreational marijuana though, right? So that should take away a lot of the traffic from Denver to LA for weed. Now they can just go to Nevada to get it. So.
But you guys have the market cornered on good, clean living.
Yeah, it's annoying sometimes with Salt Lake's incredibly liberal though. But the rest of the state's pretty Mormon.
That's kind of how I notice it is with most states. Like, I mean, if you're not like in the South or in the Midwest, but if you're more along the coastlines, especially here in Oregon, Portland is a very liberal city. Just like how we were talking earlier about Seattle and the influence of the Pacific Northwest and the industries that are up here, extending down to California and Silicon Valley and all that horse shit. The cities where all the people are and all the concrete is, of course, is very progressive and very liberal and gentrified and all that other horse shit. But when you step out of those boundaries and you go like, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 miles out, like especially out here in Oregon where there's a lot of trees and a lot of people to like hide in those trees and fire their guns, it's incredibly red. This state is really red. It's just thanks to the gerrymandering, we just happen to be a quote unquote blue state, but Oregon is a super fucking red state. Don't let the media fool you. It's pretty red. Or not super red, but like a lot of centrist leaning right and a lot of right leaning people.
Yeah,
but of course, gerrymandering.
Not by population, my man.
Why is that?
That actually adds up, though. That's a myth, too. The population is a lot of the rural. If you add up all the United States rural population, it's pretty significant compared to just urban.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
That's why Trump won. I said the T word.
Whatever. We were talking about political influence earlier anyways. You can't really not talk about someone like Trump in this day and age. He's ingrained in our world's culture at this point. So as shitty as that is.
He is stuck to us like shit on a blanket. That is true.
Fucking Christ. Like I just wanted to end. Please, Ken. When is this 8-year, 10-year end? When is it?
8 years? 8 years, bro. He doesn't have 4 years. Come on.
I'm a pessimist. I'm just saying 8.
FDR extended the presidential terms.
Oh Jesus, that's right.
Trump can too. Come on.
Oh
16
no.
years.
Emperor Trump. It's going to be like Putin. He's going to kill the competition or whatever.
Oh joy.
Welcome to the new era, boys and girls. The memes, they stay forever. But you have to live under the God Emperor, so it's fine. Whatever. Who gives a shit?
Dude, have you read Dune, by the way? Do you know how the God Emperor thing works out for him?
Dune? No. I just know the spice meme, and that's it. I don't really know anything about it. I just know that there was a bad movie made about it.
A bad movie? A bad movie?
Okay, bad TV
movie,
series or miniseries, whatever.
Thank you very much. The movie's great. It's got goddamn Sir Patrick Stewart in it.
I don't know, dude. I don't pay attention to that shit.
I don't actually know if he's knighted, but I know he's awesome.
He is knighted, Sir Patrick Stewart. You're right.
Okay, good.
Tremors is the best worm video. Come on.
Tremors is. Did you know that they just came out with the new Tremors? Or
that's what I saw. I got to go see it. Or they announced it or something. Kevin Bacon.
Is it Kevin Bacon?
Is he coming back for it?
I didn't know that. That'd be fucking sweet. I think they're on like number 6 now. Right? What?
Is Bert in it? He's the only one who's ever in all of them.
Yeah, he's been in all of them, I believe. He like runs the production company that like makes the movies, from what I understand. Or he is like the director or some bullshit like that.
It's like life imitating art, by the way, because they're like, we're going to make a theme park and we're going to do all this other stuff. And that guy is living the fucking dream. He's making Graboids like his legacy, his thing. This is all him, man. I am completely out of ammunition. The best. Which one's the best? Which one's the best Tremors, by the way?
I've only seen the first three, and
I think I only seen the first one. So
yeah, I've seen the first three because my friend had them on DVD, and I just remember the names. I remember Graboid. I don't remember the second one, but I remember the third one's name was like Ass Blaster or something. They just had it was stupid, but the first one's definitely the best.
Oh man, the second one is excellent.
I do remember liking the second one, that's for sure. The third one I wasn't really that into. What was the name of the creatures in the second one?
No, they're called Graboids. They're called Graboids.
Well, that's the worms, right? But in the second one, there's like a new form, right?
Oh yeah. The little asexual guys, the one that like puke up little offsprings to themselves.
They got like heat sensing vision or some bullshit like that.
Yeah,
like,
it was some straight made-for-TV movie B-level shit. It was great.
They probably realized that with the first movie, and the production studio kind of realized that, and they're like, you know what, fuck it, we'll just give it some money and we'll see how it does in theaters. And they're like, okay, I guess we'll just relegate it to B movie garbage.
You're like, I'll split, and I'll double down.
Mm-hmm. So before we end our show tonight, I wanted to ask you, Kevin, you currently have a competition going on for your website right now, correct?
yeah, we better show that out, or Arya's gonna throw a fit.
Right? Puts a lot of work into it. We gotta make up for it. So what is this event called?
So for one thing I failed at that I'm trying to get better at is when I started Rogue Deckbuilder, I actually wanted to be more of a community thing rather than just be showcasing my ideas. So we started a number of years back a competition called the Rogue Master Brewer, where people could submit their own brews to be looked at, graded, judged, and then we'll vote on the best deck that will be crowned the Rogue Master Brewer. This time it's actually co-sponsored by CardSphere. They're actually paying for the prize support.
Hey.
So kudos to our good friends over at CardSphere. So basically, if you have an idea for a deck, a rogue deck, not just putting 4 Benelish Marshals in a deck and calling it a brew, tasty.
Hey, now it was 4 Benelish Marshal, 4 Goblin Chain Whirler. Okay. And I ran enough artifacts in there to justify the Spire of Industry to cover for the garbage mana costs in the deck.
Okay.
Spoiler alert, the deck was like a 2 out of 10 on its best days, but I can brew, kind of, not really.
So we have a few criterias for it. Like, you're supposed to, of course, be competitive with the brew. I am more of a competitive player. My whole purpose was to be, instead of just pure jank, to be jank that could actually compete. So that's one of the criterias. Also, it's supposed to be, creative. Use a lot of the copies from Corner 2019, whatever you pick. And yeah, should be a fun little competition. We'll showcase some of the decks, and eventually I'm gonna each month we'll try to improve on it. Maybe I'll start playing some of these decks or having other people showcase them. Fun fact: Magic Man Sam started his YouTube channel off of the Rogue Master Brewer. Clear back in the day. That was his video that he submitted. He submitted an Is It deck for like an Is It Blitz or Gutter Snipe type deck, I believe. And that's how I got to know Magic Man Sam. That's how I started getting videos. And then he deleted those videos because he decided that his channel was only worthy of his highly edited videos. But it was fun.
I was really bummed out about that, but I still bother him every now and then and ask him for links to his older videos because I get nostalgic and I want to watch that shit. Because I was subscribed to him when he started. I remember how I found him was he made a video because he had a box of Modern Masters sent to him in the mail and someone stole it. So he made a video about that. And that's how I found out about him and subscribed to him as a result. And then I was subscribed to him for years afterwards. And then I wanted to go back and watch his old stuff and like his Modern Master, where he made 24 separate videos across 24 booster packs. And then we're getting a bit off tangent here, but the point is, love this guy.
Yeah.
Back to Rogue Brewer.
Yeah, it's so that's the competition. You can find it at roguedeckbuilder.com, and feel free to submit as many decks as you want. And yeah, we've got $75 for first place, $25 for second place, I believe.
Very nice, very nice. So, is that like actual cash or is it like Rogue?
It's gonna be. It's gonna be through store credit. So,
okay.
Yeah.
It makes more sense that way. More logistics or more logistical and.
Giving out cash these days is scary. There's a lot of legal ramifications that can happen with it.
Right, we
So-
could get like a channel strike as a result. Like there's certain things like if I were to announce a giveaway and not follow through on it, well, of course, like those deserve certain consequences. But YouTube's been kind of stringent on that shit lately. It seems.
Yeah, I used to give out custom playmat for it, but I kind of lost my artist, so I'm no good at art. So
I just like to thank you for making the championship title gender inclusive. That's great of you.
yeah,
You're fighting a good fight. Really appreciate that.
anyone can be a master. It's not okay. Yeah,
It's like Z and Zer. You're fighting for all of us, man. Thank you.
You're gonna go far with Wizards of the Coast, let me tell you.
I'm still really worried about because that's what I'm like. Man, people know I have a kick-a-stand mat, right? I've already been warned by Wizards, so
Right? Okay, that's weird, right? Wizards of the Coast knew that you had a mat, and they talked to you about that, correct? Not to like tread back, but I feel like treading back a little bit. They talked to you about this, right?
they didn't talk to me. Wizards of the Coast has never spoken a word to me, but they'll go
Really?
to people that sponsor me. They'll go to Cool Stuff or Gathering Magic or Zach, out of all people. And the funny story about that is they must have thought that Zach was my boss, so they went tattling to Zach about me. Basically. That's how it worked.
Strange. Yeah, so like it's been under the radar for a while because I've had that mat and for like nearly a year, and you've had it longer than that, right? And now for some reason,
I'm a child of the internet. I wouldn't call myself a big 4chaner, but there was a time in my life where 4chan was definitely one of the sites that I would go and mess around with. So the internet culture, though, is something that I've always been pretty fond of. And so when the whole Kekistani movement happened, it was funny to watch it happen. Just I'm reading Twitter right now, and someone's like, the Kekistan flag is based on the Nazi flag. That's why Wizards of the Coast might not want to be associated with it. It was made that way on purpose, people. Go watch the origin of why it was made. It was not only to poke fun of it was made to poke fun of the alt-righters and the outrage culture. It was taking things that were sacred by both and just crapping on them because nothing should be taken sacred. That was the whole idea of it. And duh is all I want to say.
right?
And last of all, this person that just posted that comment, we are not Wizards' franchises. I am not. My store is not Wizards of the Coast franchise. I sell multiple games and products here. Why does Wizards think that they can be the big, kind of overstep their boundaries with what a local game store has in it and what it doesn't have in it? It doesn't like tarnish their brand whatsoever. Was I talking with Zach? Twix doesn't care. Twix doesn't do audits on me because I sell Twix here. So.
Or Coke. Does Coke come after you at all?
Am I going to get a Mountain Dew saying, "Oh, don't be selling a Mountain Dew in your store because you have a Kekistan playmat"?
I heard that frog. I heard Hillary Clinton said that frog was a hate symbol, so you got to get rid of it.
Well, that was one of the goals of 4chan. They had like a time clock on how fast Hillary Clinton could tweet it out, and it was like record time that Hillary Clinton made it into a hate. And they all laughed about it. Yep, got her. So
it's all a game.
Yeah, it was, and it was. They don't get it. They don't get trolling or meme culture or,
Yeah,
like
because
I said,
they have lives. They don't have to worry about jokes and shit, and so they fall for that kind of bullshit.
Sponsor South Park. Have fun when South Park memes them, but forget that South Park is like the biggest edgelords or whatever you want to call it, the biggest trollers of our culture.
Mm-hmm.
And whoosh, that just must all this stuff just whoosh right over their head, I guess, when they are fans of. That always like bugs me too. The people that will like retweet out Rick and Morty or retweet out South Park stuff, but be completely massive social justice warriors. Like how?
Because that kind of nihilism fits it perfectly into their narrative. They're like, this is done by somebody who doesn't really care, and I don't want to care, except when it comes to the stuff that's really important to me, and whatever's going to make me look like I'm hip and inclusive, whatever's going to make me like virtue signal the best. That's what I want to throw out there. And also Rick and Morty. It's edgy. It's with the times.
Well, Dan Harmon, don't get me started on that topic. That's how can you write for Rick and Morty and be a massive social justice warrior?
I think the man conflicted. I think the man conflicted like many other people in the world.
He just likes to make money, man.
Many things. You can be many things at one time.
Yeah, I guess so.
He just likes to make that money, dude. That's all that it is. He'll it's kind of like being a Two-Face thing, right? It's like I'll tell the people what they want to hear on the television, you know, what the normies, what they want to hear, and like that kind of edgy humor and shit. And it'll cater to certain people on the internet, right? Because Rick and the Morty. But like in the Twitter sphere, you kind of want to be leaning more towards the left because I don't know, attention. So that way you can market the next season of Rick and Morty. And when you tweet out that you're getting, what is it, 70 more episodes, right? I think it's some bullshit like that. You know, of course it's going to generate a lot of hype. I don't know. Maybe I'm just more cynical about that shit because you're right. It doesn't make sense. How can you write something like Rick and Morty and then still, you know, live a lifestyle that would not support Rick and Morty?
Yeah. Mental gymnastics.
Gotta love that influence, dude. It's all about that's what it's all about. Like maybe it's best to just stay small, insignificant personalities on the internet, right? Because you don't actually lose a part of your soul as a result.
It's a good point. It's a good point, actually. If this channel gets too big, imagine the heat and blowback that you will get.
You know, no, don't feed my ego. Because when I get to the point where I go back to below 200 or 2,000 subscribers, I'll look back to this moment and then I'll curse you till the day I die, McBee.
Yeah, because you'll be cowering in fear from all the negative venom being spit at you from all ages.
Well, no, because you were saying implying that I were to get successful, and the way that my channel's been, it's just been a slow trajectory downward for whatever reason. Because I'm inconsistent. That's the main reason. Because I fell out of YouTube's algorithm.
Not anymore. Every Thursday, every Tuesday, and every Thursday, baby.
Every Thursday too. Jesus Christ, I'm not that much of a workhorse. We gotta throw on more guests if we're gonna do that shit. We're gonna need a third person permanently if we're doing that.
We have a meeting after this, by the way, where I'm about to inform you about our schedule increase.
Okay.
It's in a memo. You're going to get it all here in a little bit.
Oh, so you run things now. Okay, cool. So you want a position, Kevin? You want to be the COO since McBee's the CEO now?
The COO, the Chief Operations. What is the COO? Chief something.
Chief Operations Officer or something like that?
I'll be the Chief.
Yeah, you can be the Chief.
You're the actual. You're the one pulling the strings from behind. You're hiding in the shadows. That's what you do.
I'm looking at your social blade. It's not terrible. Come on.
When was the last time I had an increase in subscribers? Does it say on there? I haven't looked in like 3 or 4 weeks.
It would have been January.
Hell yeah. So I've been on a 6-month downturn.
Yeah, but not significant though.
No, it's only like 200 or something like that.
Well, you completely didn't even do a video for like a month, right?
Yeah, I fell out of the algorithm entirely because there was like a month, or there was like a 3-month period where I would upload like maybe one video a month or something like that. I shot myself in the foot.
And the older your channel gets, the harder it is to. You need to keep chugging out content because there's just the natural attrition of subscribers that just close accounts.
Right, because it just the views and the watch time and everything just accumulates, and that's what YouTube really wants to see. They just want to see those numbers grow rather than just have like what we're doing right now. If I were to just keep this weekly, it'd be like a sudden increase in views on a Tuesday and then sharp decrease and then boom again and then decrease. Whereas if you're someone like MTG Purple, who's uploading up to 1 to 2 videos a day, including live streaming, that's why he hit 7,000 subscribers today, is because of that. You have to play by the algorithm's rules.
Yeah. Well, it seems like algorithms switched back over to that. There was a time period, there was a good year, 2 years where more content wasn't actually better. It was all about retention. But now it does seem like it's back to, I mean, I think that's the reason why Unsleeved Media / The Quartering is having just the
blowing massive, the fuck up.
Massive, yeah, 2,000-3,000 subscribers a day because it used to be death to a channel if you put out 3-4 videos a day. You're supposed to go the kind of the Philip DeFranco route, one a day, one a day, because it's punishing you for every time you upload a video and then people didn't watch it. It not only isn't pushing the second and third videos and notifying the second and third videos, it was punishing them for them. But it looks like that they've switched it. YouTube's always going to be a game with their algorithm, and it should be, because when people figure it out, they exploit it, and then you get the little kids reviewing toys and
the Spider-Man and Elsas and all that horrible shit.
Yeah.
And then your flows or whatever.
Yeah, just find algorithm gold and then you take off from it.
And then what's worse is like you see some of like your favorite YouTubers die as a result of like the algorithm change, or that's the worst.
Yep.
Like with the animators back in 2011, 2012. That was the worst. Because I was a huge fan of Ego Raptor and like those kinds of creators and Rice Pirate and Oni and G and all that stuff. And then algorithm changed and it's just like, oh, look, the literal highest quality creators on your platform gone. Instant.
Yeah, getting weeded out by vloggers.
Ugh.
Yep.
Cancer. But that's what YouTube is. It's a cesspool.
Is that what did you just say the C word?
Oh, is that am I gonna get demonetized now as a result?
No, you're gonna get someone here on the channel.
Oh, we're gonna get a Hooglin in a special. Well, last episode we talked about Hooglin. We were talking shit on him and on Sleeve Media. We called both sides of the Voldemort coin, and neither of them were summoned. So you know what? Whatever.
Dude, as well we should always try and comment on what goes on
Punch up
both sides of it.
Punch up.
Always be both sides.
I mean, as many times as I say I don't want to deal with the drama, at the same time, I live for it. So
I know I've made it big when you start talking crap on me, huh?
Well, no.
We've talked about you every episode. Obviously, you've made it big.
Right. What do I even have to talk crap on you about? Like, I guess he doesn't respond to me as often as I'd like, so he treats me kind of the same way I treat him. So, whatever, I guess. He makes good market advice. How dare him? He's influencing the market. There we go. Ponzi scheme. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that horse shit.
Oh, good lord. I'm just sick of the market deniers that everything's a conspiracy theory with the secondary market. Are there conspiracy theories or Ponzi schemes or whatever the hell you want to call it, market manipulation? Absolutely. Is the entire secondary market just one big scheme? Oh, please. And if you own any Magic cards, or if you've ever traded a Magic card, you're part of the problem then. You're part of the secondary market. I'm just done with people.
But what if you run a website where you just show aggregate information of deck lists and stuff and price trajectories? Is that a Ponzi scheme then?
Yeah, must be. Whew. How dare MTG Goldfish try to get sales?
How dare they use affiliate links with eBay and Amazon?
Man, how dare they promote out content that is actually enjoyable so that people purchase cards? Just ruining the game. Absolutely must be just ruining the game.
What about you, Sean? Do you think this is some sort of like deep, dark machinations by Magic's financial elitists?
Well, clearly part of the conspiracy is making a website that actually looks good and is easy to navigate and gets you to the information that you need lickety-split. So that's a big part of the conspiracy. You need to incorporate that as well.
Mm.
But I do think that like the Magic market it's certainly a bubble that people have been pumping up, but is it a bunch of people all in league making like some deep dark cabal that's predicting prices and is like leading us along just to watch us all fall down at some point and then walk away with all the chips? No way. It's an unregulated market. It's a bunch of people. It's a bunch of people out in the wild, wild west doing whatever they can to make money, trade, sell, and get their way through life.
Yep.
God, don't you just love that? People will always just try to. That's always the one contentious topic that I always see come back up and over again. Besides the women in Magic, it's like it seems like it's cyclical with like those two things. If people aren't upset about the secondary market, they're upset about the lack of women in Magic, or someone said something stupid pertaining towards women in Magic, right?
Yep. Well, in the secondary market, always the buck stops with Wizard of the Coast. So people are unhappy with the price of a card. It's Wizard of the Coast can stop that at any moment by a reprint. But those same people that are crying about cards costing too much would be the first ones crying about their cards not holding any value after they get reprinted into oblivion. So
yeah, there's no way to make those people happy.
Yep.
The people that are just gonna just bitch to bitch, like you're never gonna be able to win. Not with people who have it in their mind that like everything is always against them, or that that they're just bound and determined to lose money on it somehow. Someone's trying to screw them out of their money. Like, oh, all right, fairness police. Call the fairness police. Everybody get a hold of the fairness police.
I get it. It sucks not being able to play cards because I can't afford them. But I was talking to someone else about this today. My other hobby being fishing. Where like I keep watching these other YouTube because I kind of want to start a YouTube channel for fishing. Yeah, I know. So I keep watching these other large YouTube channels for fishing, and these punk kids that are like in their early 20s that can afford a $40,000 bass fishing boat. I'm like, man, my hobby is I can't even get a canoe. And poor me, like should I start like raging at the fishing? Fishing boats are too expensive. This is
I saw, like, I was talking with someone about it. I don't know if it was you or no, I think it was someone else. I was talking about like just the normal aluminum boats or whatever they are. Those cost like around like 10, 15 grand a pop or something like that.
Yeah, it's it's quite expensive for stuff. If you want a decent little fly fishing pole, they get pretty expensive for the materials that are used on them. That's just hobbies in generals. Hobby can double dip, triple dip on charging on things because it's not a necessity, and that's Wizards. That's Magic. Yeah, okay, you can cry about food prices. That's probably the only thing you're allowed to do because it's or rent or whatever it is that really does affect your life. Quit crying about a hobby. You have every
Right. It's an investment no matter how you look at it. Like I'm stupid enough, as I like to show off in my background. Not only do I enjoy buying Magic the Gathering cards, but I also like spending hundreds upon thousands of dollars of video games that I'll get to eventually, maybe one day, but I just go back to playing the same 5 games over and over again. Yeah. Everyone does it.
And Magic isn't even at the legacy level. Magic's not insanely expensive for a hobby. Like again, every other hobby that I've ever been into has been so expensive. When I played hockey, oh my god, expensive ice time alone. Magic pales in comparison to just paying for ice time.
Yeah, look at guns. Look at ATV.
Yeah.
Look at fishing is another great example.
Yeah, how many lures I go through.
Good lord. ATVs, man. People spend thousands and thousands of dollars on ATVs just so they can take a trip out somewhere where there's some sand or there's some sort of terrain they can go on, spend a bunch of gas money, have a fifth wheel. They have RVs to go along with it. And it's like, yo, this is
just for an afternoon of driving like twice a year or whatever.
And then to go out and take my little teeny tiny four-wheeled machine and take that out into the woods somewhere. Oh, that was $1,000. Yeah, it's nice to have money. Good times.
And then you look on like the Magic spectrum and you're like, yeah, I have Delver and Legacy, whatever. It's kind of the same thing. Everyone spends excessively.
Yep.
Yeah.
It just seems more rational when you have a vehicle or something. Or
cardboard. Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. Something that's worth its weight in gold, but upon the untrained eye, it just looks like a fucking kid's toy. Gotta love that. But we're reaching a day and age where that kind of collectible thing is going to surge, and you're going to start like finding like old toys from the 90s that you used to collect are all of a sudden super valuable because of nostalgia and that kind of bullshit.
My parents have some ridiculous things. They have like still from the original 70s Star Wars action figures still in their plastic. I gotta find where those are at.
Man. That's a gold mine right there. Holy shit. Yep. Do you have anything like that, McB?
No, but my friend showed me something that I was very impressed with on those same lines. Original figures from Star Wars, and one of them is like a Lando Calrissian, and it doesn't even have the tab that you put it on a rack. It doesn't even have that popped out. I was like,
wow.
Oh, this had to survive 30 years without somebody going pop and popping that little piece of cardboard out. Are you kidding me? Like, you should get this thing graded. That's insane.
Holy shit. That's fucking awesome. I never really had. Well, no, that's not true. So I got a really good story actually. So I was about 12 or 13 years old, and I was playing Yu-Gi-Oh at this time, and my dad, he bought me, bless his heart, he bought me a bunch of sports cards and stuff. And I'm not knocking on that, whatever. Cards are cards.
He was trying to tell you to man up, Nick.
No, here's the thing. I didn't know that they were vintage, like from like the 70s and like the 60s and stuff, and they were like valuable, and he paid like thousands of dollars for these packs. He did not tell me to not open these. Dude, that was the most awkward night of my life after my dad realized that I opened all those packs, because he realized that he didn't explain to me that I wasn't supposed to open those.
What? Why would he give you those?
Dude, I don't know, but oh my god.
That's
Yeah.
like somebody a beta starter deck, and then they crack it and it's like 3 pure laces.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like I was just some stupid kid just opening packs, not really thinking about like, oh, these look old or whatever, not thinking that like they would be valuable or whatever.
I opened the starter deck of Alpha and just started shuffling it and playing it on the concrete.
Look, this weird black card that's got this flower on it. It got a little bent on it. I hope you don't mind. All right. So before we end it tonight, is there anything that you wanted to go over or just bring up before we close out tonight? Either Kevin or McBee?
Just chill out, everyone. Let us have fun. Let us meme in peace.
Exactly. I don't want to have Kevin on again on episode 5 or episode 6 because he got targeted by the Reddit mob and lost their WPN status, guys.
It's going to happen eventually. I've known it for years. It's, riding this for as long as it's feasible. But
do you have a contingency plan?
Of course I do. That's the one good thing about hitting rock bottom is nothing can ever be as bad as it once was.
You guys are going to have a lot of EDH nights. I see a lot of EDH nights in your future.
I was talking with someone about this at my LGS last night. Apparently, you can be liable to be sued from Wizards of the Coast if you're a non-WPN store and you hold events in which you allow counterfeit cards. Is that true? Or do you think that could actually hold ground?
No, Wizards. The only thing I know about proxies is Wizards. That's something you can get your WPN status revoked for. Is
right.
You allow proxies, but I don't know how they'd have any legal. Yeah, that's so hard to enforce. That'd be a. Yeah, I maybe they could sue for promoting their product for monetary gain without their.
Yeah, because like theoretically, you could be producing the proxies or supplying them or whatever for your own financial gain.
Yeah, I don't know the. I'm not legal expert.
I'm sorry. We just happened to catch that on video. I'm gonna.
Zach just chuck something to.
Yeah, that was great, and his reaction too. That was great because he like looked at the camera and he's like, "Oh shit!" That was great.
Yeah, this is Zach's art studio back here.
I love it. We need videos of Zach with his art shit. Why don't you upload that to Rogue Deckbuilder? Because he does altars, right?
Yeah, he does on his own channel, and every once in a while we put him on our channel. But Zach, quit being lazy and do some altars time lapse. I'm painting miniatures. He's painting miniature time lapse. Yeah, we have a nice camera for it too, but it's a good little camera here that we can.
Wow. Oh man, that's legit.
A fan sent me this.
Really?
Shout out to Trevor.
Holy
I've
shit!
got some awesome fans. A fan sent me a computer. Fan sent me.
Wow.
All I need is some firstborns now, and then I'm set.
Maybe that's the key to YouTube success, right? Like that's why they have all the money, because they don't need to spend it, because they just get it all. They get all the cool shit for free, and then they just don't know what to spend their money on except I don't know, cars or some bullshit.
I definitely have some people that support me. They're in that category that are like, yeah, I just have so much money and I like what you do, type thing. So yeah, it's my community's been very good to me. So that's why I keep doing it too. I do feel a little bit of obligation to keep going. Sometimes I just want to rage quit Magic and be like, I'm done. I'm going to take my fishing pole and go home, type thing. But then there have been some people that supported me throughout the years. And I feel like I owe a lot to them. So that's my advice to everyone that wants to start a YouTube channel. Just keep doing it. You'll find some people, like-minded people. You'll have to wade through a bunch of shit, can I say shit? Anyway, I just did. A bunch of toxicity from people they're going to hate on you for the stupidest things, but you'll get some messages. After that More Hostility Magic community, I got a bunch of people thanking me because they don't feel like they could have spoken out or have told me they were in situations where if they were to say something that they could get, some negative ramifications from it.
Like other creators on the same level or just
even public figures. There was a much larger person that actually sent me an email saying that, if I were to say that, I'd be crucified. Can't do it. So
doing a service. You're doing God's work, Kevin.
God's work.
You're a true missionary, sir.
Hey, I'm serving a new mission. Awesome.
There you go. You're on the magic pilgrimage there. You don't have to go to Pittsburgh. Can I just stay home?
Can I call myself elder?
Yep. Awesome. Well, I mean, there's EDH, so you're the elder dragon Kevin. There we go. Even though that kind of mixes with KKK, like Grand Dragon, whatever. It's awkward. Don't worry about it. Just don't Google it. You're fine.
Okay.
But I think we're going to go ahead and end it there for tonight. So thank you very much, Kevin, for joining us.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's been fun.
And thank you, McBee, for being healthy tonight.
Yeah, you're welcome. Also, shout out our esteemed guests as well. You did a fantastic job. Fantastic to have them on here.
Thank you for the chat. Y'all have been blowing it up and getting a lot of views. Turns out having a celebrity amongst our midst is very beneficial to this channel.
Anytime. We'll get some other people on too.
Right?
It's a fun podcast.
That's what I want to do. I want to like kind of just bring on more people and just like kind of shoot the shit. This is really fun. I like the more I do this streaming thing, the more comfortable I get with it, the more I just realize like this is really cool shit. Now I understand why other YouTubers do it so often. Especially with this conversing shit. This is really nice and fun. Like, because I'm not really the creative type, or I am a creative type. I just don't put out that much content. But this is a really nice outlet for that.
Yeah, when are you going to put out another video on Rogue Deckbuilder, you lazy?
I know. I'm sorry. I am lazy. That's what it actually really is. I'm just fucking lazy, and like depression's a thing. Like I'm coming out of it, thankfully, and like which is why I kind of started this whole podcast thing, because it was like a rejuvenation of motivation, really, because that's how it hits me. It just like kills my motivation. I'll just go like months where I'll just like sit in a room and just stare at the wall and just like I don't want to fucking do jack shit. But
you'll have to tell me that seems to be the creative's plague. A lot of people, happens to me all the time. So
gotta love it. But but if I can keep this going, and like if I can build like a better network, maybe I can build a better support group to help keep me on top of my shit if I decide to slack or whatever. Like how you said it earlier in the Discord chat, like to keep on you. What about you? Weren't you supposed to upload something today? I
did. I got it out right before I came on here. It was pretty crappy quality, but I did get a video out. So
good. What was it?
Morassatron.
Ooh.
So I've been messing around with the Elvish Rejuvenator. So again, nothing really.
Popper, right?
All it is shoving Elvish Rejuvenator and Morassar, but thought I'd play some games with it and showcase the deck list.
What does the Rejuvenator do again?
Light.
It's the two.
It's 2 and a green. Enters the battlefield. Look at top 5 colors of your library. Put a land card from among them on the battlefield tapped. Land card, not basic. So, it's not. We've had other cards like this in the past that go get a basic land. This one can get any land card if you hit it off the top 5. So if you're running Tron, 12 copies of Tron lands in a 60 card deck, you're statistically going to hit one.
And then you morass another one back to your hand, gain 6 life.
Well, sort of. Morass is just it's just a good ghostly flicker target. The best thing about it, it's a good chump blocker. Like I think that this is superior to Expedition Map, because Expedition Map is still a 3 mana investment that leaves back nothing. Whereas,
true.
and doesn't even throw it into play. So this one is a 3 mana that sticks out, at least blocks something, and puts it directly into play. So it like boosts you up a turn. So I've cut down to 2 expedition maps in this, and I play it with 4-0 with it pretty easily.
Plus, in that deck, you want to play like Prism on too, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
so-
Prism's a 4 of in the deck. Yeah, it does make it very awkward. There's also Simic Signets in here, so it's 2 is going to be, or Impulse 2 is going to be your 2 drop. So yeah, it was a pretty crowded space for trying to go like expedition map on 1 and then crack it on 2. It's kind of a feel bad's card at that point, but.
I feel like it probably makes that mono green Fangren Marauder Tron probably better too, because now it has an early blocker.
No.
Really?
No.
Oh wait, no, because you want the expedition map for the Fangren triggers.
Yes, and I talked about that. The Hulktron is what I like to call that one. Hulktron is actually has a bit of what we call diminishing returns with the more Tron lands you have out. Not necessarily like Tron lands are actually dead drops or dead draws when you draw into them after you've assembled Tron, because you really can't do anything with more than 9 mana. So after every expedition map you draw, every crop rotation you draw, it's like a feels bad card. Whereas in Marasatron, the more mana the merrier. It just allows you to cast multiple spells, cycle through multiple ghostly flickers / pulse marasas / mole drifters type stuff. So yeah, I tried it in Hulktron, absolutely hated it. So
well, all right, well, I'll take your heat of advice there. I need to get back into Pauper. Like I've been just kind of quiet on MTGO lately. I've kind of replaced MTGO with MTG Arena.
Me too. That whole thing. And then Zach can attest to it. It's just me yelling at the MTG Arena because it freezes up every 5 seconds.
Dude, it accumulates so much. Like it just eats up my computer. Like
it's back to that this last patch. I have a theory of why, but I might be off on that theory.
What's that?
It just they're having poor communication between your card collection and what they thought your card collection was, because some of it must be stored internally and some of it must be stored server side. And what was happening is people couldn't log in, so they're getting these errors happening because it wasn't congruent with each other. It was saying it was causing a problem. So I think what they're doing is they're trying to keep a running communication between your collection and what they have as your collection, which causes it to lag. Like just over time, it will just completely clog it up. So I think that was kind of a hot fix because people couldn't even log in as they went back to that. Because Arena was this about a month ago. Arena was doing this. I have a live stream where I showed my computer CPU, and Arena was running 99% of my computer.
Yeah, I was trying to see if I could stream for it, and I had Arena running for maybe 45 minutes, an hour, and both that in tandem with my OBS was running my CPU at 94, 95%. It was insane.
And I have a good computer. This computer's not, it's a nice computer. So if I can't run Arena, then 90% of people can't run Arena at that point. But I've been wasting way too much time as well, just swearing at Arena.
Yeah, because I would. Sorry, what?
It's the future. We got to embrace it.
Right. It's a really competent client and it's fun to play. And I fucked myself over. I don't know if it does it for you because I don't watch really that many other people's MTG Arena playstyles. But I began tapping my individual lands so many times to where now it won't automatically tap lands for me. It'll make me tap each land specifically. Does that do it to you?
You probably turned it off.
I don't know how to turn it on. I've tried looking it up. I can't fucking turn it back on. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I'll just have to look harder. But it's really annoying because I have to deal with the clock, and that's a pain in the ass.
Well, that's another thing that's happening with this. I don't know if it's data loss or whatever we want to call it, starting to lag it, is even tapping lands starts to lag like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's so many bugs right now. Like I was saying, the exiled cards under my Beaumont Courier were attacking.
Really?
I was playing a hidden stockpile deck drafted it in A3 Revolt, and the scry always wouldn't let me put it on the bottom. It just kept you have to put it on the top. It's a little annoying things that here and there, and it's just lose a lot of games to the it freezes.
So it really is the new Moto.
Yeah, well, the thing I'm with. Can I say this on stream? I agree with Tolarian I agree with Tulare. Oh, it's so hard for this to come out.
Do
I
it.
agree with Tulare Community College on something.
Oh no.
That at least Arena has the potential of being something. MTGO does not. MTGO is stuck. It can't improve. This is what we're going to have forever if we stick with MTGO. There's only so much can be done on the old framework of MTGO. At least MTG Arena has the opportunity to be something good. Now, whether or not Wizards of the Coast is going to deliver, we can debate that all day long. And I'm in the more pessimistic category camp with that. But at least we have the option. The option of something is better than no option.
Mm-hmm. And what I find kind of concerning is because Legendary Mana, shout out to him in the chat, he pointed out that it is in beta. Wizards has stated that they're going to go in open beta pretty soon, but they plan on releasing Arena sometime in 2018. I don't know if they released or if they updated it to 2019 or not. But from what I understand, they still want to try and release it this year. And it's already July.
Yeah. Well, they should. They should. And I'll talk to them blue in the face with this. That games that stay in beta too long ends up killing the momentum.
Yeah.
They have the momentum right now.
Hurry up. We live in a culture where releasing half baked games is the norm. So MTG Arena in this state, well, yeah, it's kind of a pain in the ass to deal with. I would be if this was like kind of hot off the press, free to play, you see on the Play Store or whatever. I'm fine with it. Like, they just need to get off their ass and just do it, because maybe it's a server issue. Maybe they're just stressing out the servers and they don't want to overload it. That could also very well be an issue. But at the same time, they were also being egregious with beta keys. So I don't know. Maybe they're waiting for it to be available on like iOS and Android and PS4 and Xbox One, so they can release it all together. Maybe.
Well, Legendary Mana since 2018 November PC release is the scheduled date.
Oh,
so
okay.
Like they are going PC first, then everything else. But I don't know. They have the momentum right now. That's like people that are kind of Arena deniers. That's my word for them. If you actually go on Arena, you queue up immediately in whatever format that you play in. That's not the same for MTGO. And not only that, it finds you people that are closely skilled to you. So within seconds, finding someone that's another gold or another silver, another bronze, wherever you're at, that means there's a lot of people playing it.
I wonder how much money it's making them off of the crystals that people are buying and shit, or gems. I mean,
they need to release the game as quickly as possible, because according to them, it's going to be reset. So you're just going to get refunded. That is a total feels bad for all the people like me that have grinded and grinded and grinded and grinded. I think like the entire set of Dominaria just from grinding.
Maybe they're going to do it for rotation. You think? Like when rotation, that's when they do
with it. Yeah.
That would make the most sense, because then at least you'd be able to rebuy back into standard legal packs, I guess. I don't know. But then we're kind of going into like this weird, like, someone else that I was talking with was like thinking, or maybe it was you, or I think it might have been someone else was talking about, like, they're not actually going to reset the accounts. They're just going to let people keep their cards. I don't know if that would really be that healthy, though. Like, you introduce a bunch of newer players, and then
they're not going to do that, because that's a lot of missed out of money that they have for that they want to dip into.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's my one big complaint about Arena is it's something that's be very impulsive for people that you get sick of a deck. Think about people complaining that their deck gets banned and having to rebuy into stuff. Arena, you can't even like resell your cards if you don't like the deck. You're stuck with them, and you have to start.
And they don't have they. I don't. They should just implement the dusting system. Like, that's one of the biggest issues with, like, it's really bad when you open not only a shitty rare, but like your 5th or 6th copy of a shitty rare, and they highlight that it's more than your 4th. Like, that's the worst. I hate that shit.
Yeah, well, what used to happen is that went towards your vault, but I don't know what the hell's going on with the vault right now, because they completely got rid of it. And a lot of the cards that I get more than 4 of, they're not being grayed out. So I don't know what's up with Arena. Someone says that it's still being tracked. I don't know. We'll figure it out. there still is a vault. You just don't see it, and it cracks and gives you stuff. But
maybe we'll never know. Maybe it'll just be completely fucked.
I'm okay with the above 4-ofs if they have it work towards the vault at a higher rate for rares and mythics.
I like that too.
The 3% or the 3% for the 0.3% for a rare was like so horrid.
Yeah. I don't know. I never really got into the grind that much to where I really noticed. But then again, you probably like play like hours in a day, probably, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I try to do my dailies and mess around with it. But been doing a bunch of deck techs on Arena.
Right.
Like that. So yeah, again, I see the writing on the wall. I want to be ahead of the curve when it
right. Embrace it while you can.
Yeah. Don't want to be a noob when it comes out.
Are you going to be one of the people? Are you streaming on Twitch yet?
A little bit.
While we're closing out here, because we do got to close out. You want to show out your Twitch stream? Are you doing anything or planning any streams in the future on there?
Yeah, I'll probably be playing tomorrow for some Pulse of Marasa, but that'll be on MTGO.
Okay.
Or some Marasatron. We'll see. Because here's my idea for deck techs in the future, where I'm going to try to incorporate a little bit of gameplay with a little bit of deck text, but it won't be gameplay. It'll just be kind of highlights of the gameplay. So I'll be talking about a specific interaction like, oh, the best case scenario is go turn 1 elf into turn 2 Ronus's Monument, and then turn 3 drop this. And then I'll try to show a clip of that happening while giving a deck tech, because I think that no one's really done that in YouTube, and I think it makes for more entertaining. So how to get that footage, I'm going to have to do a lot of, streaming or just playing and recording. So might as well Twitch it while I'm trying to find footage of these sort of instances. So yeah, I'm gonna try to embrace Twitch a little bit more. Other than it's very it's sad to stream on Twitch, because if I stream on YouTube, I'd probably get like 100 people. If I stream on Twitch, I'm like, Zach is the only one in the channel because he feels bad.
And you can't advertise on your YouTube channel anymore that you're streaming on Twitch either, because you'll get a strike or you'll get your channel suspended as a result.
Really? They do that? I've been kind of putting stuff like, hey, I did a post, come watch. I should hurry and take that down.
Yeah, you definitely want to do that, because they're starting to crack. Well, they're doing it on a lot of the larger YouTubers, so they may be trickling down eventually.
Okay, if YouTube wants people to stream on YouTube, then they need to make it actually like a Twitch type thing. Come on, YouTube.
Right, and not take a 30% cut from each super chat. That's a huge thing that I dislike.
Isn't it 33%? Jeez, don't be a...
Oh yeah, 33.
Or something like, and then a credit card processing fee on top of that. Yeah,
they got a nickel and dime you, dude.
Yeah, they do. YouTube is pathetic with that. Yep.
Whereas Jeff Bezos, who's running Twitch through Amazon, and he's making all of his billions, and he's letting Twitch streamers get their money too. Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on, Google.
Yep, YouTube needs to play ball. They shouldn't whine about people advertising. And there's a lot of cross promotion. Usually, if people are doing things on Twitch, they're going to do things on YouTube. Like my favorite streamer, Admiral Bulldog, he streams on Twitch and then does a highlight reel on YouTube. See, everyone's everyone's good. So, and
I mean, even Twitch, like when you stream, and it gives you the option of, do you want to archive this stream to your YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Like they should be working together. I don't understand. Like
YouTube still butthurt that their deal fell through with Twitch. So,
well, sucks to suck. It's kind of like Nintendo and Sony back in the 90s. It's like you shouldn't have shit on your competition because they're gonna end up blowing you out of the water. So,
yep. There's in my opinion, there's no reason why they can't be at least cooperative a little bit on stuff. Like, gosh, YouTube allows you to share out your content on Twitter. Type thing. So the more eyes, the better.
Right, McBee? You're a radio host. You should know all about this.
No, not true.
Why not?
Because I want to eat my Wendy's and I want to go.
That's right. We're holding you up. We have been streaming for over 2 hours now.
Yeah, what are you thinking, man? We're trying to hit an hour 15. You're out here talking for an extra 45 minutes. What the fuck is wrong with you, Ace?
I'm sorry. You could have eaten. The camera doesn't show you when you're eating.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Weren't those the best fries you've ever had, too?
They were fucking great fries. They were double fried. Like, both my chicken sandwiches were good. Now they're old as fuck. Like, what? I just been sleeping on my Wendy's right now, and I'm not pleased about it.
Yeah, go watch our older streams, and whenever I'm talking, it just shows me, and it doesn't show you. You had all the time in the world to enjoy that food.
No, but what if people hear me like chomping on the masticating?
You can choose
I'm
to mute your microphone.
You could choose to mute your microphone.
Hey, I'm just saying, there's solutions to your problems. Don't get mad at me because you didn't think this all the way through.
This is just typical. Our Discord server. Anyway, we like, I got to go to 11. Then it's 3:00 in the morning.
Oh my god! Right?
Yeah.
Fuck. Well, it was easier to do that when I worked at nights, and I could I didn't actually work. I just kind of sat there and waited for everyone to go to sleep so I could actually talk till like 5 in the morning. Man, I miss those. We got to do that shit. When are we gonna do more streams on your channel?
I don't know. I got away from streaming on my channel, but we'll see. We'll get back to it.
Eventually. You got to throw up more content on your channel anyways. It's another good excuse to do so.
Yep.
All right. Well, on that note, we're going to go ahead and end this podcast tonight. And McBee, I'll give you a few more seconds to finish chewing your food. But Kevin, again, because I already said this earlier in the podcast, thank you very much for coming along tonight and hanging out with us.
Not a problem.
Very cool. And thank you, Sean, again, for showing up.
Chicken sandwiches.
Chicken sandwiches for the win. All right. So due to how this works, I may end up cutting all of us out from the conversation like how I did last time with McBee. And so don't think I'm being rude, Kevin. But anyways, thank everyone for watching the Mana Dorks podcast. You can always check out the people that we sponsored this episode again, which is MTG Vintage Crack. They're down in the description down below. Go check them out. Go check out Cardsphere because they sent out this free hat for me. Go check out Rogue Deckbuilder's channel. Go follow me and McBee on Twitter and Instagram. You can go find us under Tasty Snackies and Beefcake Rocks and all that stuff. Anyways, my name's Tasty Snackies. You all been wonderful, and I'll catch you on the flip side.